Vray 7 in its second update, and specifically for Macs, introduces a range of new features and improvements for AI-driven tools from PBR materials to lighting and workflow enhancements and more. So let's see what this is all about. We're gonna start with AI Material Generator, which is currently in beta. From what I can see, this is a new AI-powered tool that automatically creates PBR materials from real-world reference photos, which I think is really interesting to say the least. So by uploading an image to the Kaios Cosmos library, the AI Material Generator produces seamless texture maps, including diffuse, normals, roughness, etc., and assembles them into a ready-to-use material, which is gonna be a huge time saver. This is especially useful for quickly filling out scenes with realistic materials, like floors, walls, fabrics, etc., without manually crafting textures, which is gonna be extremely efficient for interior designers. Just as an example. The update also has the Kaios AI Enhancer, which is also in beta. This is basically an AI-driven post-processing feature that can instantly polish your rendered image, and you can say in just a single click, it automatically identifies key details like people, vegetation, and other focal elements in a render, and it enhances their realism by sharpening or upscaling them without altering the rest of the scene. And notably, this enhancement doesn't require re-rendering because it is applied after the render is done. Night Sky is also an interesting feature, and it is basically a new procedural sky system which adds an astronomically accurate nighttime environment to your renders. It populates the sky with realistic stars, constellations, moon phases, and even the full Milky Way, and they are all positioned correctly according to a specified date, time, and geographic locations. So in practice, you can set a location and time, and Vray will display the exact night sky for that setting. For example, the correct moon phase and star field for a summer night in the northern hemisphere. The next improvement is also great, which is related to Gaussian splat clipping. And this one is aimed at integrating 3D Gaussian splatting data into your scene more easily. You see, Vray 7 initially introduced support for Gaussian splatting, and now with Update 2, they gave you more control by letting you trim or crop those splat volumes directly within Max. In simple terms, if you have an environment captured as a dense point cloud or 3D splat, you can use clipping objects to cut away the unwanted parts of that data. I also have to mention Kaios Cloud 3D Streaming, which is currently in beta. This is a new collaborative feature that allows you to share your 3D scenes with others via a simple web link. Using Kaios Cloud, you can upload your Vray scene and get a link that clients or team members can open in a web browser or on any device, even on a phone or tablet, to interactively view or navigate the scene in real time. They can orbit around, zoom in and out, and explore the model without needing Max or any special software. Most importantly, viewers can also leave feedback by adding comments or pinning notes directly on the scene, which makes the review process much more intuitive. On the other hand, scatter clustering adds more realism to the distribution of scattered objects in your scene. Kaios Scatter now introduces a clustering mode that lets you group scattered objects into natural-looking clumps rather than an even random spread. You have actually 3 methods to control clustering. 1. Using procedural noise patterns to clump objects randomly, or 2. Using custom color texture maps to define cluster areas, or 3. Using a brush tool to paint scatter clusters in overlapping layers by hand inside Max. This new update also brings several helpful improvements to the Vray Multisub text, which means multisub texture, and it can be used for more powerful material randomization. First, there is a new mapping source option that lets you apply a single mapping coordinate or texture as a source for all the subtextures. This means you can control how all the variants are applied using one map channel, simplifying the material graph and ensuring each subtexture aligns consistently. This is useful for things like randomizing decals or colors without separate UV setups for each. The update also expands Vray's light mix and light select capabilities for easier relighting of scenes after rendering. Vray's light mix, which uses light select render elements, can now handle up to 256 unique light selects, which is a big increase in the number of individual lights or light groups that you can tweak interactively. In practice, This means even very complex scenes with hundreds of lights can have each light assigned to its own light select layers. And you will be able to adjust the color and intensity, of those lights individually in the V-Ray frame buffer after the render is done. I also want to mention the V-Ray frame buffer's tone mapping toolbox, which gained a new exposure layer for more nuanced controls. So in Update 2, a dedicated expose adjustment layer lets you fine-tune the balance of light and dark in the rendered image using intuitive sliders. So you can adjust light tones, dark tones, and shadows separately, essentially controlling highlights, midtones, and shadows to get the desired exposure and contrast. Last but not least, we're gonna talk about Distributed Rendering 2, or the DR2. This is an interesting name Kaios gave to this overhauled distributed rendering system, which is introduced in Update 2. It is essentially the second generation of V-Ray's network rendering technology, built to scale more efficiently and to support more V-Ray features across render nodes. So DR2 improves how rendering tasks are split among multiple machines, achieving near linear scaling in many cases. So this means doubling the number of computers can nearly halve the render time, or almost double the rendering speed. And there you have it, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to receive more news like this. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.